What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of RGTP. I am your host, Lewis, and with me, as always, the Jigglypuff.
Thank
Nah,
you.
I'm just fucking with you. Mamba,
Yeah.
Mamba, how
I'll
we
start
doing
singing,
today?
put you to sleep. Don't try it. Don't try
You
it.
and Jigglypuff are here today.
Yes, we are. And honestly, so glad you invited me on time. People have been testing my patience today, man.
Ooh, it'd be like that. And
Yeah.
early on, down below, who they, baby? Think that's what
I'm so happy I was wrong. I'd rather be wrong about what I said about that game than be right. I'll tell you that.
Ooh, that's gonna be some fun stuff to talk about a little bit later on. We're gonna get to our NFL segment after, of course.
One more thing for him.
It's basketball. Go for it.
Yeah, your Jazz won. I get it.
Yeah,
I know it's
Clippers.
coming.
Hey, they got a game against Golden State tonight, so we'll definitely see how it goes.
And
But
Kawhi just hit a game winner.
basketball season is here. We're getting warmed up. Teams. Nah. It's just getting here. We starting to see what teams look like. The bad teams are starting to show that they're bad.
And they need to start selling.
The good teams are starting to show that they're good. The middle teams are now it's starting. Get those little jitters out in the start of the season. Now we're starting to see how the cookie's crumbling already. We got about almost 30 games in for a lot of these teams. We're starting to reach that halfway point. Christmas, of course, is coming. The biggest basketball day of the year. You're gonna have a ton of loaded up games. But of course, let's start with the very first team on our list. Like I told you before, we're going to start with the duds. Let's just get that dookie out the way. And the saddest team that we're going to talk about today is none other than a former dynasty, a former franchise that was revered amongst fans, players,
I mean,
general
it still
managers.
is one of the greatest franchises in any sports history.
But the San Antonio Spurs sit at a whopping 6 wins and 18 losses. The biggest story, obviously, being poor Mr. Primo.
Yeah. No, the big story here is the fact that I'm pretty sure the last time we talked about the Spurs, they were 6-7. I'm pretty sure they were 6-7, and
it might be.
They're on an 11-game losing streak. Their offense 29th, their defense is 30th. They are exactly what we thought, right? Going into this season, and they started off hot, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, look how good!" At the beginning of the season, and I think everyone understood that. Same with the Jazz. They understood they're gonna get their games early on because they catch teams off guard by surprise, But there is bright spots to this terrible team. Jeremy Sohan, he's out. He's cool. Keldon just had probably one of the worst months of basketball you could have, bro. He had a couple good games, but his shooting percentage was dog.
That boy Devin, though.
And then Devin Vassell, your future point guard, shooting guard, bucket getter. The team is bad. Obviously, they're going to have a top pick. They're going to continue to be bad, but they have pieces for when they get either Scoot or Victor, or if they get one of the other Thompson twins, or they maybe fall a little bit and they find someone else. They trade Jakob, and maybe that pick they get in return is something good, Some building pieces on the team, but it's who they are right now.
It just sucks, the difference a decade makes. You know what I mean? Literally a decade ago,
10 years, bro. A decade ago, we were in high school.
Man, it's just so crazy because but LeBron's still dominating a decade later. Come on, it's crazy.
Okay, some shit don't change,
but some things are very dramatic. This team was just winning championships a decade ago. Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame team. Kawhi,
their dynasty really started when we were born, pretty much, type shit.
Yeah.
That's how long ago they started it. And the fact that it's now past 2-3 years, it hasn't been all that ever since Kawhi was like, I'm done here. Tim got old. Now an assistant coach. Tony, he went and did his thing with the Hornets. Manu, their team was old, and now they gotta rebuild. It's what you do. You gotta rebuild.
It's so tough to see. But yes, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, some early bright spots. The young guys. It still sucks that Becky Hammond isn't on that bench. I still feel like she should have been the success,
Yeah,
but
I mean, she got
she
the
did her
championship.
damn thing. She did. She did her damn thing. I
Shout
mean,
out.
it just goes to show the capability she had. I feel like she could help this team in the future because I don't know how much longer Pop is gonna deal with this. I mean, I'm sure he's kind of coasting now. It's kind of
Yeah,
like the Belichick, where it was win, one way and one way only. And sort
yep,
of now they're kind of past their prime, so to speak. And now it's more open, showing a little bit more emotion. And Pop might just be, I'll coach a couple
yeah,
more years, sure. But man, from where they once were to now, just even 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it's like,
yep.
it sucks. It really
Oh,
does.
for sure, for sure.
It's tragic. It is tragic to see. Let's
Happens to
continue.
every team though. I would rather
Yeah.
that history that the Spurs have, right? The 5 championships to, oh, now we're shitty, rather than, oh, yay, we're in the playoffs 10 years in a row, but we don't win shit and we're not, like we're
Yeah.
just in the middle. I'd rather the dominance and then the, we
We
shit.
bad.
Yeah, we shit.
We bad. Hey,
Yeah.
I hear it. I hear it. From one, historic franchise to one that's just been in mediocrity. With an
I
owner
know.
that
Yep.
is one of the most talked about and most historic players of all time.
Yep.
The Charlotte Hornets are just boo-boo. Sitting at 7 and
Yeah.
17. Some of that obviously has to do with LaMelo Ball only playing 3 games this season. Missed time, came back, they missed some more time. Don't know what they're gonna do with him. It might just be tank season. Terry Rozier has been trying since he got there.
Yeah. He's been trying since he's been with the Celtics.
Yeah,
Right.
he's trying to prove himself.
Yes.
Gordon Hayward hasn't panned out
and
too
he's
well.
out for who knows how long now.
Yeah, Kelly Oubre obviously went over there because he didn't want to be a bench player. Yada yada. He isn't. He's
Their best
trying.
player right now.
Yeah, he's trying. But
He's their best player right now. Yes.
man, this team has been bad.
Yeah.
For quite a while.
7 and 17.
7 and 17. They can't guard anybody or score points. They are bad.
Yeah, it's always that center spot for them too, right? They got LaMelo. If you passed on LaMelo, you would have been questioned, and teams were questioned that passed on LaMelo. But they then get Miles Bridges, a wing that can guard and defend, and he does his thing. PJ Washington, power forward, center, can space the floor, he's solid. They don't really have the piece. They don't work together, right? Like PJ started having his drama, and then he kind of disappeared. Mason Plumlee, you really want him being your, mention bright spots for the Spurs.
Yeah.
Really the only bright spot for the Hornets right now, besides LaMelo, I'm taking him out because he's been injured this whole season, is Rozier, Oubre, and then Jalen McDaniels.
Finally got to
he had an amazing start to the season, and then about in the middle into October, they were like, all right, beginning of November, we're calming down with you, but he started to pick it up again, and pretty happy to see that. But this team they're just another team they need to sell the pieces that they have. Hayward, depending on his injury, Rozier needs to be traded.
He will be.
You probably keep Oubre, just because he's been their best player. And then you probably trade PJ too. And at that point, LaMelo's probably looking at this like, bro, what are we doing, man?
And for sure. And I did see that. Nick Richards.
Yep.
They're just trying a lot of things. It's kind of like another team that we'll talk about in a little bit. They're trying. They're just trying.
They also drafted the center out of Texas, I believe, Mark Williams.
Yes.
Like people were high on him, and they were like, "Yeah, best fit Hornets. They need a center." And then I don't think he's really playing like that at all.
They've whiffed.
But their head coach,
whiffing on picks a little bit.
Steve Clifford, probably not the best head coach you can have. Like his resume, he's a head coach. That's great. You were able to get hired, but he gets hired and the teams are mediocre at best.
Very much so. Very much so. I agree. This team is just dwindling down. They haven't hit on a
Yeah.
lot of picks. I was hoping Book Knight a few years ago was going to be a hit. He has not panned out. PJ
No.
Washington isn't looking like he's panning out all that great right now. They moved off of Graham after he had a nice season a few years ago.
Yeah, but
Made the swap
they
for
got
Kemba.
what they could for him. Graham hasn't really been able to do much for the Pelicans, and at
No,
times he's just too much of a liability on defense. So
this team
then
got
moving on from Graham, it was like a what, but it kind of made sense in the long run.
yeah, but yeah, I guess so. They
Yeah.
just it was tough. They had both the Martin twins at one point.
Yeah.
They could probably use one of them right now.
They could definitely use the one in Miami.
Uh,
The other one's injured right now. Just add him to the list of injuries for him as well.
it's so bad. It's so bad. It's just such a sad
Yep.
team. It's sad to see. LaMelo was one of my favorite players coming out of the draft.
Yep.
So I just hope they get back on track.
Bring him back to the Bobcats, man.
No, don't do that. Don't
dog shit as the Bobcats. They're there again. When they get maybe potentially good again, go back to the Hornets.
Absolutely
Just
not.
start the whole cycle over.
From 1-7-17 team to another, the team out in
goodness.
Houston, the Rockets are trying, obviously, are keyed in on rebuild mode, a ton of young pieces. And when you just look at sort of the four-man young pieces, we have Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Sengun, and Jabari Smith. It looks really good, and they have a couple of the guys sprinkled in throughout the bench that are also very young. It's a very young team. Paul Silas is still trying to figure all these things out, working these minutes. Outside of Kevin Porter Jr., there hasn't been too many highlight spots. Last year's main thing was they actually won games when Jalen Green wasn't playing.
Yeah.
And now Jabari Smith isn't too hot. He hasn't been playing.
He's
turning
definitely
it around
struggled,
a
but
little
he
bit.
is definitely finding his footing now, yes.
He has struggled a little bit, so I'm sure unlocking him a little more and figuring out where he's most comfortable on the court and how he plays. Paolo doesn't have that problem right now in Orlando. He got it. He came in, stepped up right away. Jabari's still trying to find his footing. Again, he isn't the best player on his team.
He's a solid shooter. Was watching that double OT against the Sixers.
Yep.
Alpi just bulldozed somebody to get it fouled out, and Jabari canned a three, like just ready to shoot. It's like Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr., the ball is going to be in their hands. Yes. They're going to want to get to the basket. They are going to facilitate. Jalen Green had a lob. He tried to give to his teammate. It got it was mad funny. But he immediately was like, that's me. I shouldn't have done that. I was just trying to get some fun going. But this team, even though they suck,
right?
Unlike the Hornets, they have a team you can look forward to in the future. Even if they don't make any drastic changes from this year to next, the fact that their team has this year to grow together will make them a better team in the future. And Silas, I kind of like him as a coach. I know last year there was a lot of drama and stuff.
Not his fault.
Not his fault. And the way he handled it, and you didn't really hear anything else other than, Christian Wood left. Kevin Porter Jr. is no longer at this game. That's like the main things we heard. This man and his instructions, right? People are like, oh, no wonder the Rockets are bad. He's teaching them how to do a layup. He's just trying to help, younger people. The team is fun.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, it's a fun team, even though they suck. And it's give them, I say maybe 3 years. Okay. They can maybe push for playoffs in maybe 2 years from now. But 3 years, I think they'll have that establishment for their team who maybe they can be a sneaky team in the playoffs.
If not, they're going to have to figure some shit out. That's for
right.
Sure.
That's if their progression goes perfect,
Yeah, that's the key part. That's the key part. This team, like you said, 3 years could be something, but in 3 years, we don't see any improvement.
KPJ might not be there,
Exactly. There's a lot of things that have to be seen. A lot of things have to be seen. They do have some other young guys, Tari Eason, Kenyon Martin Jr., Josh Christopher. They have a lot of young – they have so many nice young pieces. So it's going to be interesting to see because what starts happening is kind of like how we've seen in Cleveland, prime example. They had Garland and they had Sexton. They kind of had to go with one. They had to kind of figure that out. So it is going to be interesting to see. We saw Davion Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox get chosen over Halliburton.
Right.
Not really Halliburton's fault. He was definitely the one that they could have gotten the most value out of instead of moving off of Fox. So it comes down to that. So how many of these guys are going to be in here? How are they going to develop with each other? Because we'll talk about a team a little bit later on that's seeing a little bit of regression from one of their former first round pick. So we'll definitely talk more about that.
What team you're talking about?
Jumping on over, we're gonna keep on going. 9-14, the Chicago Bulls, a team that we were thinking was some type of a 50-win team when this team was assembled. It hasn't quite panned out. It is a two-man show. Yeah. It is Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Vucevic gets some leftovers here and there.
But... I mean, definitely better than last year for Vuce. But it just sucks that Lonzo. There's still no timetable on when Lonzo's going to come back. Alex Caruso is trying his damnedest for this team.
Well, he plays like 30 minutes and only gets 5 points a game. Like
he can't hit a shot. But he'll get you everything else, but not a shot.
It is so tough.
Probably the worst thing about this team, not even like contractually or like on the court play, is the fact that if they don't get a top 4 pick this year, it goes to the Magic. They have a top 4 protected pick, but they're the 12th.
Yes.
And I mean, we've seen some luck in the past, i.e. Pelicans getting Zion,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But damn, the Bulls, they have no luck when it comes to the lottery ever. They always have the 7th pick or the 8th pick. They got the 4th pick one year.
They're going to get the
Patrick
5th.
Williams. He hasn't been. But yeah, this would be the year that they let's sell out for maybe, get our big of the future. But they have too much scoring for them to be a bad team. Like, that's LaVine. We have seen this man do some ridiculous shit in the clutch. DeMar, mid-range killer, can kill you in the clutch. Like their defense is apparently really good as a team. It's solid, top 10, good. But then their offense is a little stagnant, it seems at times, But they've had a pretty tough schedule so far. Like when you look at all this,
we'll see.
Stuff.
They didn't beat any playoff team last year. They're like 0-14.
That's last year, man. They've what? I think they've given the Bucks a loss or 2 losses. Like they've beaten some good teams this year when they're not at full strength. It's just tough. The Bulls live in this limbo.
Yes.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
We're falling
pretty
down.
much.
We're almost there.
They're in like a mid-tier purgatory at the moment, and it's
and they try so hard to get out of it. It just always backfires on them.
Literally, legit. They brought in 3 All-Stars, a bunch of young pieces, had some young people. It's just not working. It is not working for Chicago right now. They're trying. They got to figure some things out, though. Let's keep going on. From one team that has 2 guys to a team that has 3 guys and no help, the 11-13 New York Knickerbockers.
Okay.
Their big 3, they're trying. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett combined for about 60 points per game. This team averages about 115, 116. They literally score over 50% of this team's points. And the rest of the team, I think the only other person averaging 10 points or more is Emmanuel Quickly at literally 10 on the dot. Nice. And then Cam Reddish was just exiled out of the lineup. Out of rotation.
Why?
Because Thibodeau doesn't like him. He barely likes Mitchell Robinson.
Who they just extended. The first Nick to be extended since Charlie Ward, I believe.
Listen, I don't know what the hell's going on over there. They're 11-13. They're just middling in the middle of the pack right now. Their 3 best players are playing so far up to standard, almost 20 points per game for all 3 of them across the board. They're trying. RJ Barrett's three-point shot has been struggling since he's entered the league, but he's a good facilitator, good rebounder. We saw Julius Randle be a candidate for Most Improved Player of the Year. We've seen him be an all-star team. And then Jalen Brunson had very much so stake of claim of being the second best player on the Mavs for probably the last 2 years. And he's a winner since Villanova days, 2 national championships. But the rest of this team, it got pieces. But what the Quentin Grimes was some hyped up player, literally. I don't know what happened there. Quickly
I think he
flashes.
started.
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson, we love. I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah.
Obi Toppin pops off a couple of East Bays every once in a while and then disappears for a month. Like, what is going on with the Knicks?
They have too much. And
no, they don't.
They do, though, because they're trying to play like 20 different people.
Yeah.
Because you didn't mention Jericho Sims. He be getting his minutes. You got Derrick Rose when he comes back. Evan Fournier. Like they have too much, and I think it's time to move on from RJ. If I'm being honest, at this point, I think I would rather keep Julius and Jalen together and see what I can get for RJ. I know it's crazy, and hey, I was one like, they better not trade RJ to get Mitchell. But now it's like, they probably should have traded RJ for Mitchell. Like that's full circle, man. It happens.
Yeah.
You finally see like, oh, he's balling. And this is not saying RJ is a bad player. I'm not saying that at all. It's just the team doesn't work at times. I think there was a stat saying he'd missed like 72 of 118 shots, something like that, crazily.
On some bad stretch.
Like Julius Randle, he works the best when he has the ball in his hand. He can distribute. Their spacing with RJ and Julius and Obi and Mitchell, and they have Isaiah Hartenstein. Completely forgot him, and then Jericho. They have too much and not enough at the same time. And they're a team that they could probably make a trade, maybe 1 or 2 trades at the deadline, and for sure make it into the playoffs.
Hey, there's a solution in the comments for them down below. Just put Jimmy in.
Yeah.
Moving screens everywhere.
I agree.
I hear it, Jim Nick. I do. Absolutely. See what you do out there, buddy. Body them up. From one 11-13 team to another, the Oklahoma City Thunder, 11-13. They literally have one player.
We can change this to Oklahoma City Shea. All right.
His name is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
He is doing his damn thing. Shout out to my boy, Josh Giddey, who you was on it. You was on Josh Giddey. Well, I'm talking about pre-draft. Like before everybody realized he was like, yo, Josh Giddey's kind of nice.
Some people saw it. Nice. That's why I was able to like hear his name and then see some of his highlights, some of the games he played, and
solid.
I was like, okay.
Those European players, already playing in these overseas international. They're hooping against other grown men at like 14, 15, 16 years old. So it just shows, and we've been seeing it with the Lukas, with the Jokic. Sengun's another one. These international players,
Ntilikina, Frank, Mr. Frank.
Yeah,
that one was tough.
But these international players
plays great defense though.
They come in and they can hoop, of course. And Lou Dort, Lou Dort is making strides. He went from a guy that was being left to take 15 wide open threes because he couldn't hit one. He's trying. He's basically their third best player so far.
He's been their second, third best player since the bubble, man.
Since the bubble, locking. I hear it. It has been tough.
Lugans for MVP, tough, man.
It's still tough though. But this is one of the teams I was alluding to earlier. Kind of like the Spurs and kind of like the Hornets. They're just trying things out. This team is one of the only teams in the NBA that legitimately rolls out almost 15 players on any given night. Shea leads them with 35 minutes, then Giddey with 30. Then Dort with 30, and then everyone else from there is a mix of low 20s to like 12 minutes a game. Like they just do a whole lot of interchanging things, I guess, trying to figure out what's going to work on this roster. They've drafted a whole lot of different players. Could Chet possibly help put this team over the top?
Maybe. Over the top? Not yet.
Well, they're 11-13. If you think about them getting their arguably their best player. You know, we could have, debatable how Shea would have been playing with Chet there.
Yeah.
So
True.
we could probably say their second best player.
Oh,
They're sitting at
yeah,
11 and
yeah.
13. If they had him showing the flashes that he was able to show us, then I don't know. This team might be something
Maybe
to talk
positive
about.
record right now.
You know what I mean? Maybe something to talk
Yeah.
about. But they're still sitting at the 11 and 13. Meh.
And take
Oklahoma
a lot
City
of pressure
Thunder.
off of Shea too, to have to get the bucket. You know, being.
Yeah,
I'm sure he loves the fact that he is their walking bucket. But if you can have someone else beside you, maybe getting you 17, 18, 20,
right?
You know, that's a high end that I'm going to give to Chet just because we believe he can do that.
Right.
But even if he's only giving you 10 to 12, maybe 8 points, he's going to get you boards. He's going to get you blocks. He showed that he will guard the perimeter. He isn't scared to go out there. Yeah, that is shots at you, Rudy. What are you doing? You know, but the Thunder, the fact that they have Shea puts them so far ahead in their rebuild. Because now it's really, who can we put around Shea to maximize his potential? And you have Giddey, who's a fantastic playmaker and gets the ball to everyone. Who is that next guy for them, though? It was supposed to be Chet. It's not him this year.
Right.
Chet next year.
Yep.
If it's, Giddey isn't giving you the points that you want, do you move on? Like what would this team do if next year they have everybody healthy and it's like, okay, we're still about the same, And you're still sitting there with all the picks and whoever you drafted in this draft, because you're probably getting a top pick regardless.
Right.
Do you keep Shea? Do you trade Shea? I would keep Shea too. Oh, shit. Wait, my team traded Shea. Oh, I guess I won't keep him.
You got to take some of those picks and figure it out. If you probably don't freak out this year, obviously. You probably don't freak out next year, considering you're going to get Chet back. You have to figure out how the team's going to look. You have more of an idea of what the team's going to look like probably like 25, 30 games in. Let Chet get healthy.
Right.
Figure out whatever the hell the draft pick is this year, whatever offseason trades.
Hey, one more name, Jalen Williams. The first Jalen Williams, I believe they drafted.
Right.
He just got named like Rookie of the Month, I believe, or Rookie of the Week. Something. He just got something for rookies recently.
Yeah. So
pretty good.
You kind of wait it out, you see, because you're going to have literally a billion first-round picks and second-round picks where you're probably going to need to see where Chet excels at. If it's occasional spot minutes and he plays more of a Anthony Davis role where it's more for 10, 15 minutes at the 5 and sort of divvy up his time, then you're probably looking for a Steven Adams, Clint Capella, someone of dumb nature, Rudy Gobert is another guy, but you know what I mean? A rim protector, so that way he's able to flourish, expand his game elsewhere, not have to do all the rim protecting, not have to do all the banging down low, because we literally saw LeBron ran into him and took him the fuck out. That's all it's That's everyone's biggest fear.
I mean,
the joke.
It is also
and the
LeBron,
meme. The meme was, when Zion gets him in the post, and like it literally happened. So you probably want to get somebody that's got some bricks in their pocket to be able to help him out. Probably some sort of the best and all-around number one answer will always be Steven Adams, because he doesn't give a shit about minutes, doesn't give a shit about scoring. He sticks up for his guys. He sets all
he
around.
Will take a towel from his teammate to give it to the better teammate.
I love Steven Adams, but something like that, even like a Draymond Green-esque player, someone that's just that's what that team's gonna most likely need going forward in the.
That's what they want. They need the nitty-gritty for their players.
Exactly. That's most likely what's going to team. It's a young team. They're going to need an injection of veteran leadership, so to speak. Although Shea is doing the best he can. He really is.
That man is ridiculous, bro.
He is.
That man is he could be an all-star starter the way he is playing.
Very much so. Nick, we just appreciate you stopping by, man. We try to keep you up to date as much as possible. Hear me? And
Yeah.
Nips,
Hey, you
don't
could
feel
follow
any
us
kind of way.
on
Don't
Twitter
worry about
at
it.
RGTP, Real Guy Talk Pod. You know?
You know it. Deal with them kids. My kids is over there. Their mom is dealing with them. That's not my duty right now. But let's keep on moving. Now we're moving into the good teams. We're moving into some teams that have at least 500 records, sitting at 12-12.
Ooh.
The land of the lengthy. The Toronto
Yeah.
Raptors continue to just be a solid team for what feels like the last decade. They had a couple years where they were, picking high in the lottery.
Yep.
Obviously got Scotty Barnes.
Scotty. Yeah. Was this the team you were talking about earlier?
No, but
No?
he is
Oh,
he is slightly similar, although Scotty Barnes has taken a little bit of a dip in points, his field goal percentage and his free throws. He's taken a bit of a step up in 3-point shooting. His assists are also up, but that obviously comes with turnovers.
Yep.
Teams aren't just letting him, sleepwalk through anymore, and they're preparing for him now a little more. But he hasn't really regressed. He hasn't truly improved. He's sort of just been steady so far.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see what this team, how he performs going forward in the playoffs, considering they're looking like they're gonna be at least a playoff team. A lot of very interesting pieces, of course. Backcourt: Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet. Then they have Siakam in the front court, OG, Scotty Barnes. They bring in who is the kid that just
Koloko?
Well, Thaddeus Young Koloko. Thaddeus Young has been
Chris Boucher.
He's been in
the
land of the lengthy.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe the Toronto Raptors other than the land of the lengthy. They have like everyone that's between 6'6" and 6'9" that plays defense. I don't know how Nick Nurse and Usai Ujiri did this shit, but they just have like the most lengthy team possible.
I think they definitely need to trade someone. And I feel like I always bring it up when we talk the Raptors. But OG has improved his stats and his stock so drastically this year.
OG alone.
Hey, no, I think OG is the least untouchable, if that makes sense. The least untouchable that they'll get the most back for. Because if a team calls up and they're like, hey, we want Scotty, they're going to be like, hey, we want KD, bitch. Like, what?
Right.
We want KD.
It kind of goes to the Tyrese Halliburton situation.
And yes, and that's another reason why I think Scotty's taking kind of a backseat. OG, I have him in my fantasy, bro.
Been balling.
Dude gives you 6 steals almost every game, it feels like. He's had multiple 30-point games this year, multiple 20s. Like
he's becoming a true two-way player, not just a 3-and-D. He's becoming a true two-way player right now.
Yes, and they've asked Gary Trent, like, bro, we need better defense out of you. It's great you get steals. I hope you see that Cesar. It's great that he gets steals. That don't mean he plays all the defense. Okay? It's cool you get steals. They just want a little bit more man-to-man out of you. Go to your zone when you're running it, play your defense. If you take Gary and OG, you could probably get something nice in return for that.
Oh.
What? No clue.
Yeah. Hey, OG gonna drive with the price.
Scotty, like you would want to see more sophomore slump.
Right.
Pascal, he's cool. He's gonna give you his 25. They're kind of a meh team to me. They're a good team, but when I watch them or when I look at them, I'm like,
they're not exciting.
Yeah. But you have exciting players on there. It's just at times they don't work for me.
My opinion, if everybody's gonna get moved, it's probably gonna be Siakam. That would be my guess. Probably
I
be
see
Siakam.
that, yeah.
Probably be Siakam. Sad to say, because he's he was there for the championship. He was the most improved player. He was their second best player during that run. It'll be tough, but it looks like they might. If that's the route that they go on moving somebody, it's probably gonna be him to just.
Do they
fully
get a big in return, or
I don't know, because they just again the land of the lengthy.
Pascal for Jonas, man, bring Jonas back.
They can move so many different pieces. Broshear, Precious, like all these different guys. Scotty Barnes can masquerade as a 5 here and there when they go small, but like they just have so many.
OG might be able to go there.
They just have so many different options to plug and play. We saw Koloko come out the cut and he's got a bunch of boards. Like they just have too many different guys that they can can just kind of plug in and play.
I think Kim Birch is still there too.
I think he is too. He's another guy that's like 6'7", 6'8", and just rebound defense. But This team's gonna need to figure something out. Scotty Barnes, I'm watching you.
And
I'm
their
expecting
offense
some
defensive rating
moves.
wise as a team,
Nick,
fantastic.
Nick Nurse is
Fantastic.
excellent coach. The coaching is not their issue. They got a couple things to figure out, but Nick Nurse is a spectacular coach. Sitting at a 13-11 record, the surprising Indiana Pacers, led by none other than Mr. Tyrese Halliburton, who's been getting nothing but his flowers all season long, averaging 19
now,
and
I
11.
believe. Tough. Get better.
Ben Mathurin has taken, I want to say, the league by surprise, but I don't know if anybody was ready for him to just roll out of college and into the NBA and just start dropping 20 and basically be the second best player on this team.
You mean be sixth man of the year as a rookie?
Basically.
Didn't Ben Gordon do that? Someone did that. I feel like someone did that as a rookie and got sixth man.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, this team and the Nimhard, man, came from nowhere. Had like 31, 13, and 7 the other day. I'm like,
their second round pick, my boy Andrew.
What?
Yep.
But they should keep Miles. They should keep they should keep Miles. I'm still cool with them trading Buddy. But this team, they have the shooting, they have playmaking. If you keep Miles, you have one of the best rim protectors, while also that rim protector being able to shoot for you. And it's not that's a brick. That's hey, can we get on him? He's hitting, right? This team, if they're trying to make it to the playoffs, maybe they probably can. They can probably definitely stay in the play-ins at least. But damn, it doesn't feel like they should. It feels like it
pain.
Yeah, it's really. Do you believe Tyrese is so good that you can find the people to put around him to get you to that level, right? Or do you want to have a player like Tyrese and then try to get a player to pair with him that we don't know what he'll become, but a player that could take over the league and be unexpected of what he does to a team, right? But hey, keep Miles. Fuck it. Just try. And that's what the Adam Silver wants. He wants teams to try. You don't want them to tank. Will this team sell? My opinion, they probably will sell players at the trade deadline, you know. But nah, just try. That's what I want to see from this team, is them to try their hardest to make the playoffs now.
Yeah, I am on the same try, you know, but instead of sellers, I think they might try to be buyers. I think you try to get this team.
What?
An area that you're probably missing is some wing defense. Most likely. Obviously, a lot of teams are in need of a solid wing defender.
Did I just hear OG be put on the block, man? Oh, my God. OG, if you're able to keep Miles and Tyrese with Benedict.
They have some pieces that they might be able to move off. Obviously, they got some players. But most teams in today's NBA are missing a stopper of some kind, and no one on this team screams stopper to me outside of Miles Turner providing the rim protection. But in an entire 7-game series, for an example, there's only so much that he can do, and there's only so much that you can allow another team to score, and then you're going to be able to keep up. There's only so much. So I'm thinking there might be more of on the buyer's market where they just say, hey, fuck it. Kind of like the CP3 to OKC, where it's like, hey, we're gonna just go for it.
Right.
We have nothing to lose. Let's be honest. The Pacers aren't gonna lose nothing if they just go all out and try to ruin someone's season.
I got a crackhead trade for you if you like.
You and these crackhead trades,
they're fun, man. RJ and Obi for Buddy and Miles. I know I just said don't trade Miles, but you have Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson, I believe, is who they really like at center. You get a potential upgrade at defense from RJ if he's willing to play it.
Right.
You have Tyrese now feeding RJ. So RJ's not trying to get his own thing, right? And I'm that's no knock on Jalen Brunson. But between the two, I think I'd rather And then you have the shooters in Nimhard and Duarte and Benedict Matherin. And you're still a young team.
Yep.
But now your top two is RJ Barrett, who was the third pick, and Benedict, who was your seventh or sixth, whatever pick, and Tyrese Halliburton. That seems like a good 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you got to figure out your bigs a little bit because you did just trade Miles Turner, but you have Obi Toppin to be your 4, while Smith or Jackson can hold down the paint.
Maybe.
I don't know why the Knicks would say yes to it, but why not, right?
Well, there goes to your crackhead trades again. But yeah, we can agree. We just want the team to try and just kind of see what it is, because Pacers always look good on paper. Good on paper for these last few years.
Bro, it goes back to the PG-13 era and PG-24 era.
And I remember them teams, the Roy Hibberts. I remember they was giving Miami fits when we was in high school. Trust me.
It's so fun, bro. It's so fun.
I remember. A team that just played last night. The Denver Nuggets are sitting at 14-10.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So you're going to bring it up?
Jokic. the mysteries. Oh, it was so tough, bro.
It'd be like that. But when you're the MVP, back-to-back rated MVP, you get away with little things here and there. But this team, obviously, still trying to figure out some lineups. They haven't had many wing defenders or players to be able to come in and step up. And over the offseason, they've added KCP, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green. They moved off of a very reliable backup point guard at Monte Morris and officially gave in a lot of the responsibilities now to Bones Highland. So they're still trying to sort of figure out something.
He had 20, right, off the bench?
He was going crazy.
Yeah.
He was getting technically he was going crazy last night. I love Bones Highland. But again, this team's still trying to figure out. Jokic missed a couple games. Michael Porter Jr. missed about 4 or 5 games. I know Jamal Murray missed about 4 games. So they're still trying to figure some things out. It's still sort of young. As previously mentioned, these teams are going to start figuring things out. We're starting to see who's good and who's bad. And this is one of the teams that are probably going to be trending in the good direction. And it's kind of what we talked about before when we last talked about them, was the KCP, Bruce Brown, sort of these wing defenders to be able to come in and take a huge relief off of guys like Jamal Murray, knock down some shots for a guy like Jokic, number 2 in assist, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere in the top 5 for sure.
Right.
In assist as
what he does.
I'm talking, as a team in general, not just
Jokic,
but yeah, Jokic does what he does. But how are we feeling? Denver Nuggets, we just watched them last night.
They feel the same.
The same.
And I say that meaning they're going to win.
Right.
Regular season. They're going to win. They're going to get wins in the playoff as well. They're a winning team.
Okay. I was waiting for the but.
Here it is. But I don't think they're going to go far.
Okay.
Michael Porter, he's too off and on. It's too, you're giving him a shit ton of money.
That's
for him to be off and on.
They projected.
Jamal, he's cool. And hopefully he does regain that bubble footing, where he's just scoring everything. And it is a lot to ask for a person. But the fact that we've seen him do it, and then he's got flashes that he's gonna get back, and then there's times where it's just like, come on, man, come on. But this Nuggets, they don't do it for me. I don't think they strike fear in anybody. They know Jokic is going to give them buckets. They know Jokic is going to get his boards, his assists. They're going to play well. I just feel like teams look at them like,
what version of Jamal? Michael Porter. I hear it.
We're not going to sweep you. But a team like the Grizzlies, I feel like their energy could get them past a team like the Nuggets. Because if they get down, they too hard on themselves. It takes them time to get back, but they get caught, they gonna get caught, and it's gonna be funny. That's why I tried to get them Luka and Kawhi, man, because they need somebody to relieve the pressure from Jokic, and I just don't get that from the team that they have.
Jamal Murray, you got to show this man that you
Yeah.
are Bubble Murray again, because he is
Right.
doubting you right now. All right, our final NBA team before transitioning over to the NFL. The 16-9 Cleveland Cavaliers continue to impress. Donovan Mitchell just gave out a nice 40-piece to the Los Angeles Lakers. And Mamba, this is the team I was talking about where their former first-round pick has sort of vanished off the face of the planet. My man, or Isaac Okoro, went from faithfully his first year with the team, was a featured piece of the team in year one. Year two, took a bit of a step back as we saw, obviously, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen come into the fold. Darius Garland takes a step forward. And now he's been almost reduced to lost in the sauce. Now that Donovan
Okoro, bro, that is not who I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, I know you thought I was talking about Scotty Barnes, but this was a piece that I was excited for when they got Mitchell, because he would have fit in perfectly as a defensive guy, sort of how we felt Patrick Willis was going to be, where Patrick Williams was going to be out in Chicago, but it just hasn't been panning out. But they're getting
his fourth year?
Year three. This is year three. He's only regressed. That's my biggest issue. He's literally only gone backwards across the board. But getting some good minutes out of guys like Kevin Love, who, how the hell is he still in the league? He's still knocking down threes, and he's still getting, Then
he gets his boards. Mm-hmm. Didn't he, was it this year when he had like 30 and 13 minutes?
I think that was last year. I think that was last year.
I
think that was last year.
That right there, though, even though it happened last year, that's insane, right? Like,
the Cleveland Cavaliers, they've missed minutes. Garland's missed time, Mitchell's missed time. Jared Allen just went down for a little while. So, how are we feeling about this team? 16-9. Probably not the. They've given us fits. I can't say that they're not at the Celtic Bucks level. I believe both games we played with them, I think we split, but both games went into overtime. We might have even lost both games, but they're pushing that sort of where Miami was last year, 2 years ago, where it's like, hey, we're all talking Bucks, and now it's Bucks, Celtics. But this third team over here, don't get caught lacking playing the Cavs in the playoffs.
You got like the Celtics and the Bucks at the top of the top, where those two we feel they're gonna make the conference finals. You ask me how I feel. This Cavaliers team, they have the size for when Giannis wants to go to the paint. They have the size for when Tatum, Jalen, and then, their wings and their guards, not the best defenders.
That's where it's going to be sus.
Exactly. But their team buys into the defense, and they play their asses off.
Number one rated defensive team right now.
I was wrong, man. I was wrong. It is official. I am officially admitting I was wrong on Mitchell and Rudy. I'm glad Rudy's doing his thing. He's pissing a lot of people off, Rudy. Like a lot of people.
Mamba was on this fucking show banging on the table.
Yes.
Keep Rudy Gobert. Trade Donovan Mitchell. I would build around Rudy.
Yeah, I would have at the time, but now
you and Thomas. Thomas, I fucking love you, bro. But you can eat it too.
Yeah. No, it's just this Cavs team, it feels, even though they're missing that wing defender.
Right.
It feels as though this team could be that sleeper dark horse.
They could be.
Yeah. And we were saying in the beginning, like, they probably won't make it this year, but they could maybe push for the conference final.
They have that Grizzlies vibe.
The
Grizzlies vibe you just mentioned. About they're going to play up and step up, and they ain't going to back down from nobody.
Yeah.
So
and because of that, it would not surprise me if the Cavaliers somehow make the finals this year.
Whoa, the finals!
Yeah. It is a 3-team race.
Ooh,
and then everyone else right now.
Fair enough.
Only thing that's really scary is obviously Giannis. And the fact that the Celtics offense is so good.
Jaylen Brown,
they're just waiting to get their defensive stopper back.
Cowboys having a hell of a year.
Yes. But I have him in fantasy. I told Cesar I needed his soul if he wanted him.
Said I have JT, so I feel it.
Yep.
But yeah, this Cavs team is going to be very fun, very exciting. That is going to wrap up the basketball segment here. Oh, yeah, you got a comment down below. Yes, it is bittersweet, Nips. I feel it over there as
That's
a
so
Utah
tough.
fan, as a Utah fan.
Being a Jazz fan, man, you probably, damn it, why did we keep it? You know?
Hey, I feel it. That's how it goes. You just want to see him do good, but it's like, hey,
Yep.
I could have used some of that, but it'd be
Right.
like that. It really
Right.
do be like that. But transitioning on from the NBA over to the NFL, we're gonna jump right into the tiers. We have switched up our top 10 ranking. We're now doing a little bit of tiers. Shout out to Nick Wright. We stole a little inspiration from you, buddy. I appreciate you very much.
He took it from someone else.
Oh,
so
I
it's
know.
okay.
It's just being passed along and recycled. But we're going to bust down some tiers now. We're going to obviously start down at the bottom of some of these NFL tiers. These are really just sort of the more so teams. Yeah, there's a couple teams.
The good teams. We're not talking about my Saints.
Yeah,
we're not talking about the Jags.
A couple teams just missing the cut. Teams like my Patriots and the Chargers that are sort of just fringe teams. So let's just jump right into it. This tier is the what tier? Because how the hell are any of you teams here? Let's start with sort of the outlier team, because they could very much be in our next tier because of default reasonings. The Bucks. We'll start with the Bucks. They could be in our next tier. Spoiler: our next tier is the playoff tier. They should technically be in there because they're gonna win their division.
Seahawks probably too, if we, but they're in the what? Because what the fuck, bro?
I told you, they have not recovered from the Antonio Brown saga because it carried over from the Jets game into, oh, Brady's retiring. Oh, Brady's coming back. Oh, it's either Bruce Arians or Brady. Then let's fire
football
Bruce.
Or our marriage, or it was a lot that's happened.
Then it was Brady was going to Miami, and he didn't really want to be with us,
and the Raiders.
And
now I think they're talking about him going back to the Patriots. And the Bucks
6-6. Somehow they're still here.
I cannot wait for Brady to leave them because they're gonna be in even more shambles.
You just are the Saints fan. That's why you're saying
I am preying on the downfall of this team.
You want the one decent offensive band-aid because the defense is great. But they're only averaging.
They're okay.
I don't know what the hell happened with him and Mike Evans. I don't know if maybe he was fucking Giselle. I don't know what the hell. He done gave up. He done gave up on Mike Evans. It feels like I don't know what the hell's going on.
They just cannot get in sync.
Brady and Bowles is arguing. Like I don't know what's going on. They're sort of the outlier. And then the other three motherfuckers. I don't know how the hell they got here. The Giants. Seattle
was here because we were all wrong, and it wasn't Pete Carroll. It wasn't anybody else on that team.
Oh, we know why.
You cut out the cancer to stop the spread. Is what they do.
Did you call?
And I was wrong. I was wrong because I thought it was a great trade for the Broncos, and I thought the Seattle was going to be dog. The complete opposite, and they're going to have a third overall pick potentially.
Yeah. Seattle
is quite possibly in like the best position of any team right now.
Oh, they're coasting right now. They're having a good old time. Well, the Eagles are doing all right because they're about to get your pick.
Hey, no, we're gonna give them AK and we're gonna get it back. Okay.
You wish, but yeah, Seattle, New York Giants, and the Washington Commanders were three teams that probably should have been to start the season. They were going to be top 10 picks, top 5 picks. They were going to draft their quarterbacks of the future. These teams were in shambles. Hence why they're in the what now, because all three of these teams have legitimate chances of making the playoffs. Washington is currently on the outside looking in because of that tie. So, little shiesty, but no one really thought how. I'm still trying to. I get,
Daniel
Brian
Jones bought himself another year, in my opinion.
Did he though?
Heineke, I think he did.
Did he though?
Yeah, because if you're picking at, say, like 22, 24, 25, maybe, if you're lucky, if you get some sneaky wins.
Right.
He has proved, yeah, I'm not the best. I'm damn sure not the worst.
Right.
And he doesn't really throw that many interceptions. Doesn't really fumble.
Anymore.
Yeah. And he can be a threat with his legs. I think the argument can be made. He has no wide receivers. He has no one to throw to.
Yes.
Kenny Galladay, diva, gone. Wendell, that his name?
Wendell Robinson.
Wendell.
Yes. Yep.
Hurt.
A lot.
Sterling, hurt.
Tony didn't work out.
Tight ends. I don't know their tight ends.
Evan Ingram didn't work out, and Kyle Rudolph was injured.
Exactly. So Kyle Rudolph's with the Bucs, ain't he?
Yeah, no, he was injured.
Okay. I was
that's why you're like, I don't even. That's why you're like, I don't even know when or why. Yeah, their tight ends have been abysmal.
They have, other than Saquon Barkley, no weapons. And that alone, I think, allows Daniel Jones to be like, you're really judging me based off of the last season when I was throwing to a grocer, like that's what it feels like.
Okay, I hear it.
Darius Slade, I'm sorry for the disrespect, grocers. Kurt Warner was a grocer. All right, just saying.
That movie just came out. Put some respect on him.
Yeah. But yes, Daniel Jones has earned himself. Heineke on the flip side.
Heineke.
He's a great backup.
He a baller.
I'll give him that. He is a great backup.
He a baller. Yeah, I don't. So, question: you say Daniel Jones isn't the worst, isn't the best, but where does he rank amongst his own?
These four? Oh, in the division.
In his division, compared to he isn't better than Hurts, and he isn't better than that. So it's a legitimate argument on who's better, him or Heineke. And I know you just said Heineke was a backup, but he's about to lead them to the playoffs again.
Yeah, but the Giants might make the playoffs with Daniel Jones, and they have no receivers. Heineke is throwing to Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson's had some great. They have like 7 running backs. Like
Dotson was injured.
Dotson just played.
He was injured for like 3 weeks.
But I'm saying he came back and he immediately scored a touchdown. Like his first game back, he scored.
He took over last year for Fitzpatrick and took them to the playoffs.
They did.
He's about to take over for Carson Wentz and make it to the playoffs again.
You put Daniel Jones on the Commanders, they're in the same spot, I believe.
Really? You think so?
I believe. I think so, at least.
I hear it. Oh, Nip says Daniel Jones is the worst. Commanders rally around Taylor Heineke. I hear that. I'm telling you, they made it. He's probably the worst. I don't know if he bought himself a year. Heineke might have bought himself a year somehow. Or maybe a starting job.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Heineke's with the Commanders again.
But these teams, this is the what tier. With the most likely team that's going to make some sort of any kind of playoff run is probably going to be the Bucs because they have the guy named Tom fucking Brady on their team. So, whatever.
I can't wait for them to lose in the first round.
That would be hilarious. Well, the way it shapes up, they'll take on Dallas, which would be a very interesting game.
Which they will lose in the first round.
The next tier, this is the playoff tier. This is the you're in tier because playoffs is just too much to fit on the board there. Sorry about it. All the similar teams. We have the Tennessee Titans, the Baltimore Ravens, the Miami Dolphins, the Minnesota Vikings, and
if we're being honest, Tennessee can be brought down. My fault.
We got to see how it goes. And the San Francisco 49ers, which is probably the closest team to jumping into our next tier, but there's a reason for that.
Broken feet.
There's a reason for that. But let's start. Tennessee is a floundering team.
Just fired their GM.
Their offense is abysmal.
AJ Brown just torched them.
That was in their defense. That was the first time they gave up 20 points since like week 6 or something like that. Like,
but guess what?
Shutting teams down.
Didn't have to happen. He could have been on your team.
Hey, I know. This team has just been a mech team. They've lost some players here and there. They're trying to figure it out. They've been kind of banged up by injuries and then obviously poor trading decisions. Traylon Burks is now down, who's supposed to be their replacement for AJ Brown. Robert Woods has had his flashes. Derrick Henry's been playing like Derrick Henry at least. But Tannehill's been playing like Tannehill, which has just been meh the entire time. So it's tough. Tough sailing.
That's honestly why they can be brought down. And it's going to be crazy for me to say this, but Baltimore could potentially be brought down as well because a good pass rush and Henry.
That's it. They're just a meh team.
And
continue Baltimore.
They're going to get torched. But Baltimore, they are also hit with injuries where it's like,
that secondary.
What's about to happen to your team? Because you're probably going to maybe make playoffs, depending on how these next weeks shake up. If they lose more games and, say, the Chargers start winning.
Like I mentioned, the team that was just on the outside, they might be creeping in.
They're in right now because they've been able to win. They've choked a lot. They get up, and if they can stop choking, they're in a better spot. But Lamar Jackson and that defense they're pretty damn good at times. And that should be able to get into the playoffs. Okay. The what is how long is Lamar going to be out, right? Huntley's probably not winning you a game in the playoffs.
Probably not on the play. He'll win you some regular season games. Huntley is a baller. He probably is another guy that, depending on how Lamar pans out, they obviously have to figure out if they want to pay him or not.
Right.
Huntley might find himself a little bit of a contract elsewhere or just continue backing up Lamar, considering, again, health issues. It's 2 years in a row now. Honestly, since he's been starting, he's flaring up. He's flaring up here and there. Let's get to you. Miami. They are another
ankle injury.
Yeah, they're another team, but that seems to be a hindrance. Is the health of their quarterback. Defense is there.
The weapons.
The weapons is
line's okay.
Honestly, I love McDaniels. I love Mike
McDaniels. Every video that I see of the Dolphins, I have to watch because I want to know what McDaniels is about to say to Tua or
he's like, yo, he's hilarious.
He even admitted like, yo, that's all on me. Y'all are good. Like you don't really see videos of that.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, I was up 3 a.m. watching your YouTube videos of you in high school. You sucked, bro. You're garbage. And he's like, hilarious. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. McDaniels is a coach for the players. And the media. He's hilarious with them, too.
He absolutely is. Yeah. The biggest question mark, though, of course, is Tua's health. They just lost their first game to San Francisco when Tua played the entirety of the game. But when he's not there and he's not playing and he's not the one delivering the ball to these weapons, the offense obviously takes a step backwards, which puts a lot more pressure on the defense. And that's something that we've seen a lot. It just happens. It happens a lot to a lot of teams. When your quarterback can't move the ball up and down the field, you can't get your breaks. It's going to happen. We saw Tua crumble a little bit.
You giving me flashbacks to Monday, bro.
Pressure.
Terrible.
The pressure was on. San Francisco forced a lot of turnovers, fumbles, interceptions. They did not give Tua a chance to breathe. And that's most likely the exact same way a lot of teams are going to play him in the playoffs because football is different in the preseason, in the regular season. There's playoff football. There's Super Bowl. There's different levels to the shit. And Tua is most likely going to feel that pressure. And that's really the biggest question mark for them is his health-wise. On to the next team. We have a Minnesota. Another team with quarterback questions. Will he be able to get it done at the biggest moments? But there's one thing, and there's one player that undeniable talent will step up in the biggest moments. Mr. Justin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the other LSU guy. That's right.
The other LSU guy. But, of course, Patrick Patterson on the defense side. Harrison Smith. They brought in Zadarius Smith. The defense has all of its pieces. We've talked about them throughout the entire year so far. Dalvin Cook on the flip side. Adam Thielen. Just brought in Hawkinson to make this offense even better. But, again, another team. Quarterback question marks. This could have been QB question because San Francisco, same thing. Could be in our next year, but they have a guy by the name of Brock Purdy right now. So this is sort of
irrelevant.
Yeah, this is sort of the quarterback question tier. Y'all probably making it to the playoffs, but all of you have a massive question at the quarterback position.
With Minnesota, they love giving up the big play.
Right.
Just like with my team. So, Minnesota fans, I feel it. When you're watching, you're like, why did we do that? Bonehead move. Yep. What are you doing?
Hey, they let Mac throw for 300. I was feeling it.
Yeah, that's crazy. 40 points against Dallas, giving up, and they could not score more than 3 points.
Another reason why they're down here.
If they cannot score and they're not keeping up, obviously, and their defense, they giving up a big play a little too often sometimes.
Yep.
It's very. They are, I would say, the third best team in the playoffs.
Okay.
But it is yikes at times for them because it all comes down to Mr. Kirk. Has he finally had a game where he passed for over 303 touchdowns?
I have no idea.
Because I know he got close. He had like 299 and 2 touchdowns. But shit, Minnesota, they're good, but they're question marks, I guess.
Question mark. Yeah. Anything to say other than Brock Purdy on the San Francisco 49ers side of things? Because that was the main
reason. Their defense is good.
Yes, of course. There was the main reason Brock Purdy being the new QB under center was basically the main reason why we decided to bump this team down a tier.
Yeah. I mean, he has weapons. The O-line is solid. McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk. The defense, Fred Warner, saying nothing but good things about Brock. Like, they do believe, even though Brock Purdy is their quarterback, that they can go as far as they can take themselves.
Right.
And obviously, some people are like, yeah, we can make the Super Bowl. Yeah, we can make the Super Bowl. But for this to be his first time starting in the NFL and it being week, 12?
Right now?
It's 13, 14. What week are we? Holy shit.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
Where did the past 2 weeks go, bro?
We are almost done. Yes,
for
sir.
him getting his first start in week 14, 15, that's crazy. And the fact that he then will have to go into the playoffs and do this after only having 4 weeks.
Maybe there's some talks about Jimmy G being able to.
He don't need surgery, but
there's talks. Jimmy might make it. Jimmy G might make it.
Out of my face, bro. Do you want a broken-footed Jimmy Garoppolo?
Well, if Brock Purdy's dog shit, then yes, please.
Hey, he was solid though against the Dolphins.
You said it. Let's see what he does in 4 weeks.
I would say yes. I allow him to just finish out the season, obviously.
Right.
He gets the start in the playoff for the first game. If he is getting beat down, can't figure out who to pass to, figure out the defense, sure, make the switch.
Right.
The man broke his foot, though. Sure, you don't need surgery. It's a broken fucking foot, dude. Do you know how painful that shit is?
Fine. Yeah, I hear it. He's not going to be able to do shit. We know Christian McCaffrey can throw the ball, so bucket.
Debo probably can too.
He definitely can. Let's move on. Now we're talking to the upper echelon. This is essentially the top 5 teams, so to speak. These teams that you're seeing from here on out are at least conference championship.
There's one team in this
material
where like the betting was giving them 50% to make the Super Bowl.
It'd be like that.
Stupid.
Let's get it on. The Cincinnati Bengals coming off a massive win against the Kansas City Chiefs, elevating them up a spot because they were down in the playoff / in tier. We were sort of that matchup has a lot to it carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
It carries a lot of weight. They beat Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs 3 straight times. Twice in the regular season and once in the playoffs. Yes, of course.
1 year, man.
And on top of that, yes, Buffalo is also on this list. They beat Kansas City, but they also beat Kansas City early in the year. Cincinnati getting a win later in the year holds a little bit more weight and value because now we're seeing the exact same. We're seeing the teams that these teams are supposed to be or becoming, so to speak.
They are.
You were here saying Kansas City wasn't going to lose for the rest of the year.
I'm so glad I was.
And you had to eat that.
And I'm more than happy to.
Yes,
the Chiefs are a great team. Was it really crazy to think that they might not lose any more games? No. But, I was going to come on here and be like, ha, 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 it worked. Reverse psychology. Got them to lose. You're welcome. But, come on, bro.
Now
The
without some
Bengals?
controversy though, there was the
Yeah.
Travis Kelce fumble. There was the boy drop touchdown. Like there was a little that
You
game
got
got
Jamar
interesting.
throwing money on the defense. You
Hey, the
know that
game
shit was
got
so funny.
interesting, and it's a bit of a probably a little bit of a rivalry
No, it
brewing
is.
here.
It is.
It's cooking.
If I'm a Cincy fan, if I'm Nips, right, I'm like, nah, this ain't no rivalry. We're 3-0 against them. Fuck you mean this
Fair
is a
enough.
rivalry? They can't
Fair enough.
stop us. What?
Hey,
If I'm a
fair
Chiefs
enough.
fan, I am pissed.
Fair enough.
We can't beat the Bengals. It's the Bengals, bro. You know,
You know what's
like
funny?
that is
The
definitely
Bengals
what they
can't
have.
beat the Browns.
Right. So I mean, Cincy, I would so love for them to go to the Super Bowl again.
Right.
I will never not want to see Joe Burrow and Jamar. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man came up to him and was like, hey, bro, good game.
Hilarious.
And you know Mahomes is like, hey, bro, fuck you, man. I wanted to win, you know?
Right.
Cincy, they have offense. Their defense is really good. I'm not eating that, though. I will not. He's bad. He's bad. But they're a solid team all around that can give any team they go up against fits.
True. All right. Before that, anyone
This
confused?
is the team. What?
Mamba is throwing subs at Eli Apple because he absolutely despises Eli Apple. Hence why the defense is good,
going, man.
except for him.
I didn't say except for him. I just said he's not
good. He's the hindrance to the defense. Dallas, a team that went from Dak to we don't need Dak to Dak is the man. They're now averaging
back to Dak is ass. We're back to that. Yeah, we are.
They're fucking Cowboys fans, okay? I don't know how to put it. Cowboys fans are
I would love Dak to be my quarterback.
Yankees fans, like there's certain
I wish Judge left them, bro. I wish Judge left them.
Like there's just certain franchises that it doesn't fucking matter what the hell you do for them.
Yep.
It's never gonna be fucking good enough. Dak could win the Super Bowl and then be shit the next year and they're gonna want him to fuck out. Like it doesn't matter.
That's everybody though for their team. It's like, oh, you're being an ass. I don't want you on my team.
This team has needed that because the defense has gotten. They could only rely on the defense for so long. The defense had a couple weeks where it was a little shaky, and they stepped up in a big game, beating the brakes off of Minnesota 40-3, trending in the right direction. Dak is clicking on all cylinders. CeeDee Lamb's having a very nice year. Tony Pollard looks like he look like he took over number one running back duties from Zeke. And then the playmakers, obviously on defense, Micah Parsons, obviously potential defensive player of the year. Diggs is having a much more quiet season in terms of interceptions, but he also isn't being put on too many highlight reels anymore.
Yeah.
So beneficial for him. But how are we feeling about Dallas as a whole?
I don't care for them. Yeah, they'll probably win round one because they're playing the Bucs and they suck.
Okay.
But I don't. Okay, I'll be. They have weapons. Their defense is good. You know, they have a good team, and they can maybe push. They can maybe push the Eagles. I don't see it. They're McCarthy at times. You know, it's. Are we sure we want to do that? Zeke being in the game when it's like maybe Pollard should be there. Zeke.
Right.
I stopped hating. He's had some okay games as of late. And then CD, Michael Gallup. I think he's injured again. He might not be.
Gallup is on and off, sadly.
They want to try and get OBJ to help the offense even more. Like, they have the potential. But just like every year when we're like, oh, they got the potential, they're going to choke. And I'm going to laugh.
It'd be like that. And that kind of goes to the next team. Buffalo is a team that is teetering on potentially just moving into just the end team.
And they are now the third, fourth best team.
Yeah, it's a little shaky. Yeah, they don't look like a clear cut, Super Bowl favorite. Losing Von Miller obviously does take a big hit on that. Go for it. But yeah, Buffalo, seeing them in division. We played them. Obviously lost to them last Thursday. We'll be playing them again in a few weeks to wrap up our season. Just a very inconsistent team right now. Josh Allen, a lot of turnovers. Gabe Davis has had flashes here and there, but he hasn't been enough to execute as being the number 2 wide receiver. Losing Von Miller obviously sucks. Obviously, already lost a key piece to their secondary. I forget if it's Poyd or Hyde. I swear to God, I do this every week. But this team,
Pretty sure it's Poyer.
They're very dangerously close on just going down a tier. Very dangerously close.
I think they are at the point.
The 50% Super Bowl favorites that you were talking about?
Oh, no, it was Dallas.
Oh,
Dallas,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was watching, it was like Sports Center or something.
Wow.
And I forget who it was, who the numbers were powered by. But it gave Dallas a 50% chance to make the Super Bowl.
Okay, true.
What?
Buffalo?
That needs to be in the what tier?
That's on Buffalo, because you've been up here bashing Josh Allen for the last few weeks. You've been saying your
not
piece
bashing him,
on how
but his
bad
numbers look like Davis Mills.
Yeah.
That's not bashing him. That's telling the truth. They can get hot. They can put up points. But Cincy, maybe a little bit better than them. The Chiefs, probably a little bit better than them.
Oh, we go find out.
Buffalo started so hot,
Buffalo
and they
Cincy
just
play
showed
in a couple
us
weeks.
like we're not it. We are not them. And they lost Von Miller.
Yep.
It don't look too good for them.
Yeah, it is going to be tough. But these teams all have a relatively high ceiling, at least conference championship, Super Bowl potential. Maybe. Buffalo, you are the teetering team. And, of course, our current Super Bowl matchup, our two best teams currently, and there's going to be some debate, especially going forward. Kansas City and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philadelphia sort of has things locked up for the time being, but they're going to have to play. They have an interesting game this week, and then I believe they still have one more game against Dallas later this year. I don't think they've played both their games. I can't recall. And then, of course, Kansas City sitting here. They've basically been one of the top 2 or 3 teams for most of the year, but that Cincinnati loss got us making some looks.
Right.
Now. We looking their way like, hey, not everything is set in stone just yet. Again, goes back to the 3-0. This team proves that they can beat them regular season and playoffs, so it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. It's KC though. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Andy Reid. How dare? Yeah. It's okay, Nips. It's okay. We always do. We always do this to the Bengals. We bring them down, or should I say, we bring them back in and then they lose. So, like, if anything, you want us to leave them out of our tiers, man. But
I know Mamba had them losing, and then now we talk a borderline Super Bowl.
Hey, that's fine. This is what we do.
What
our moods change on everything all the time, man. It's cool. It happens. KC, though, Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, too dynamic. Philly, they are who we thought they were. On paper, off paper, on field, off field. They are ballers. I know they just lost Robert Quinn. I don't know who's in my MVP discussion, to be honest.
He's in the top 3.
Probably.
It's been Jalen Hurts and Mahomes.
Yeah. But Philly, they are the team that should probably be the 50% chance to make the Super Bowl as of right now. When you look at the AFC, it's closer. When you're looking at the NFC, it's Philly, and then it's meh.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like with the NFC. With the AFC, though, that's a dogfight.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. A lot of these. Oh my God.
Too far. Hashtag bars. AFC, no. All right.
The AFC is more so top heavy. Obviously, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Kansas City. We'll obviously have to see where Lamar and the Ravens fall. Miami, of course. They're more so top heavy. But then when you look at sort of the middle of the pack, we have like our tier, the Bucks, Seattle, Washington, Giants. They're kind of just like there.
People on the outside looking in. Chargers,
exactly.
NFC. It's really like, I think the Lions are the only team that's on the outside looking in maybe for the playoffs for the NFC. And they need so much shit to happen, and they have to win out pretty much. NFC is pretty much set.
For the most part, yeah. pretty much. At least the well, we'll see what the hell Brock Purdy does because he might just shock everybody and he might just be hosting playoff games. I
Hey,
don't
that would
know.
be cool, bro.
He
That'd
might
be
just
cool.
overtake Geno down there.
Mr.
In the
Irrelevant,
West, but
leading in the playoffs, winning in the playoffs, his rookie year.
tough.
That'd be the greatest pick of all time.
Getting them a Super Bowl, maybe.
Ooh. Said better than Brady.
Bowl, maybe if they get him a Super Bowl.
Right.
Let's bust down some Week 14 predictions before we wrap things up. Let's start it off. Thursday night football. The disgusting and ass cheeks Las Vegas Raiders take on an even more ass cheek and disgusting Los Angeles Rams in what might be Baker Mayfield's debut game.
Yeah.
What? Who do you got and why, Mamba?
I got the Rams winning by a touchdown as Baker throwing the game-winning touchdown. Yeah, why not?
You really love riding on the when something happens to a team, they always step up.
They do.
I'm picking
but
the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, they have been winning. It's a smart pick.
And Aaron Donald ain't playing.
Yeah.
And Cooper
no,
Kupp
it is the smart pick to go.
I don't even think Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's done.
Yeah, no, he's done. I'm pretty sure.
They ain't got shit.
They got Van Jefferson. They got Higbee. They got Akers. Hey, they need to start using Akers more and more so when they get to the draft, they can actually trade him for a draft pick.
They'd rather be able to draft him than have him get mauled every fucking game because he goes nowhere.
No, they need to fix that O-line.
They go nowhere. So don't get your future trade asset destroyed before you try to trade him.
Hey, that's for every team. That is for every team. Look at the Bengals. They let him get destroyed, and they made the Super Bowl.
You
don't let him.
Joe Burrow secretly signed his soul to the devil. He said, "I'll give you my ACL for a Super Bowl run.
You can sack me 1,000 times. I don't care.
I'll give up my knee for that ring, though."
Right.
Let's move on. Battle of New York. The Jets go and take on the Buffalo Bills. The Jets they've fallen off.
They're also a bubble team for the playoffs.
Yeah, but they've fallen off a bit. Mike White's season is trying to get them on track. They were destroyed by Minnesota. Minnesota just kind of gave up some of those.
But Minnesota almost choked that game.
I know.
They owe it twice. Like, we're not.
I'm rocking with Buffalo. I'm rocking with Buffalo. You're taking the Jets.
I'm taking the Jets.
Upset. I love it.
Give me 150-2 for Wilson.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Let's keep on. What else we got here? We have the Cleveland Browns going into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals in Deshaun Watson's second game. Joe Burrow and company trying to capitalize on their win over Kansas City. Who do you got and why?
I got the Bengals.
The Bengals.
Why?
Who they?
Because they about to make this run to try and get that first
again.
season.
Are they gonna make another?
Yeah.
Another late regular season run?
Should I say it? They're not going to lose it.
You literally just
I won't finish that statement, so I don't jinx them. But I probably just jinxed them. My fault, Nips.
Nips, you know exactly who to yell at next week when we're back here.
Yeah, both of us, because we put them back in our tier.
Yes.
Even though I'm pretty sure they were there last week, too.
I'm most direct with Cincinnati. I think there's going to be a cakewalk of maybe not a cakewalk of a game. Let me rephrase that.
Right.
This game might be a little bit more competitive. Divisional games are always more competitive.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb is not no slouch. He should be able to, the run game should be able to match relatively well. The question is going to be where, and who else steps up offensively for the Browns.
Shit, if you're a Browns fan, you hope it's Deshaun.
Well, yeah, that and Amari Cooper comes and goes when he fucking pleases over these last few seasons.
But if their defense and special teams play like they did against the Texans.
Right. The Texans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, Nips, I don't know if he's 0-5 against them, but I know he hasn't beat the Browns.
That's terrible.
I know he hasn't beat the Browns. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, you're going to get your first win. Woo, woo. Let's go.
Our second state battle. The Houston Texans go into Texas, already there, to take on the Dallas Cowboys for who is the best team. And this is a no-brainer. This shouldn't even be a debate. You fucking God. By far, Dallas by 40.
Yeah, probably.
Dallas by. I don't even think,
Give me Dallas.
I know they benched Davis Mills. I don't know if it's because they just don't give a shit anymore and just
because they realized they shouldn't have taken him out of the starting lineup for a quarterback who's been in the league longer than him and has proven that he's not like that to be the starting quarterback. But going into the season, you're like, yeah, we're going to have Davis Mills be our starting quarterback because we believe in him. And then we're going to immediately, well, not immediately, but about 10 weeks, 12 weeks into the season, we're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're ass. And we're going to put in another ass quarterback.
Yep, ass for ass. That's how it goes. That's Houston right now. Houston is a debacle. Let's continue. Minnesota goes into town to take on the Detroit Lions. Mamba, who do you got and why?
Detroit, because they're going to make that push.
Yes, I agree. I'm on Detroit as well. I think since the Dallas game, Minnesota has been looking a whole lot more suspect and not looking as great.
Oh, yeah.
Patriots were able to move the ball, and then the Jets were able to move the ball, and then
they almost choked that game.
Detroit got some weapons.
Swift
looks
Williams.
like he's coming back a little bit on his own. He's on the way, so yep. I agree.
Nips they just got Jameson back.
Most definitely see how that goes. He got the Lions. He also got the Texans 54-0.
Let's go. That's what I want to see. Or a tie would be hilarious.
Detroit absolutely mauled. Who was it that they played?
The Jags.
It was Jacksonville. Absolutely mauled them.
40-14, I believe.
Very shocking game. I was thinking that. The Jags are now making me look bad. They had me looking good. Now they're making me look bad.
And guess what? I picked the Lions.
Yeah,
to get at least 7, I believe. We're almost there, man. We're almost there.
Divisional game. 2 teams on our tier. Philadelphia goes into town to take on the New York Giants in their second and final matchup of the year, if I remember correctly.
Daniel Jones going to prove he better than Heineke with this. Just kidding. Eagles win.
Hey, he can still play a good game.
Hey, he can still definitely play well. But
I got Philly on
they have so much, and the Giants have so little.
Yeah, I got Philly dominating, mainly dominating this game.
Maybe not dominating, but at least 2 scores.
It's going to be a fun it should be a fun game. But we'll see, because they kind of just took up Tennessee and they beat the brakes off of Tennessee, so it might just be more of the same. They might just be feeling themselves. Maybe. Another divisional game in what's maybe a blowout. It might be the most competitive game they've played all year. Kansas City goes into town to take on, let's ride, Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. If there's any game at all that Russell Wilson and company decide to score more than 20 points,
it better not be this game.
They need it to be this game.
They better not be this game.
They
better continue to struggle. No, it's over. They're done.
Kansas City?
Yes.
Kansas City?
By a lot.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
I want the Chiefs defense and special teams to do what the Browns did last week. That's what I
dominate.
Want. Yes.
Dominate all 3 phases of the game. Then Denver's losing.
Yes.
But
no but.
No. The but is we was ahead of this shit on this show. I try to tell motherfuckers. Russell Wilson was on a hot seat before the season even started.
Yeah, I mean,
because everyone ever said for the last 2 years was all Denver needs is a quarterback. All they need is a quarterback.
They finally got him.
Now
they need a quarterback, man. What can you say?
He's washed, and now you're calling him a cancer. Like,
yo, that is strong language.
Yeah. So who's the cancer that Seattle stopped from spreading their season? Come on.
The turf. They went to grass.
The turf monster. If Denver ever
I don't even know what they play on.
They fucking need it now. If there's ever a moment that Nathaniel, not even the thing, just the ownership can look at. Not yet, but if he doesn't after this game, he's gonna. It's bad. They need a game where they can be like, look, like there's something, whether it's a Chargers game
Yeah.
or against Kansas City.
It's
One
like
of
the
these
Spurs.
games
They
need
have
to be
Kelvin. They have Devin Vassell.
they're terrible.
They,
They're terrible. They're
Broncos.
butt cheeks.
It better not be this game.
They're butt cheeks. No, this game needs to be the one and only game all year that they play hard as fuck. Get into a
Nope.
shootout. They
No.
fucking need it. They
No.
fucking need it. Let's get into one of the games of the week. The Bucks go into town to take on the San Francisco 49ers. And Brock Purdy looks to ruin Tom Brady's hometown return, however you want to call it. And it sounds to me like even though he was a little bit on the fence on the 49ers.
You'll take a Duke right on his helmet.
Is this a biased pick because you hate the Bucks in division?
But I mean, they are also a good team, and they're going into San Francisco to play them.
Yes.
Come on, bro. They struggle at home. You think they gonna not struggle on the road and having to go into a hostile Niners whose defense is still solid? They've gotten their people back. They still have to defend Ayuk, Debo, Christian, Kittle. Damn, did I name all their weapons? They probably have someone else that I didn't name, but those are the main pieces for the Niners.
I'm also on the 49ers. I want them to win some games. I really do. I really want them to make a little bit of a random push, but I don't know if they're going to be.
I'm always for that's not supposed to happen. Brock Purdy leading.
We have a whole tier dedicated.
No one would expect that. So, exactly.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Our Sunday night football game, Miami goes to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Tua versus Justin Herbert, the current Miami Dolphins quarterback versus the guy who could have been the Miami's Dolphins quarterback. Who do you got and why here? This might have some direct playoff
for sure,
or the wild card.
This is the Sunday night game.
This is our Sunday night.
This is gonna be a good game. Offensively, defensively, this is gonna be a good game. Give me the Chargers.
The Chargers.
Yeah. Why? Herbert's improved. After he broke his ribs for a stretch there, he didn't really have weapons to throw to.
Yeah.
He had a couple. Her ribs, no real weapons. It was shaky. But now Keenan's back. Mike Williams is getting back. Eckler, he came back a few weeks ago. Herbert's finally playing like Justin Herbert.
Yep.
Team's rolling. Give me the Chargers.
Hey, I hear it. I'm all for it. I'm on the Chargers wagon. Again, these are one of the, like previously mentioned about the San Francisco games. These teams are going to start preparing and prepping more and more, playing tougher against Tua, and he's going to start feeling the pressure. Yeah. I think Chargers are another team, much like Denver. If there's ever time to start putting in some wins, getting some dubs, and some teams that you're looking at, like, hey, we got to play up and step the fuck up, this is going to be one of them. Because, hey, who's to say Buffalo doesn't start losing some games, Miami turns it around, and this is a first-round playoff matchup. And you can at least sit here and say, hey, we took one from them. So I'm leaning Chargers, and a lot of the same shit you said. They're getting a lot of their offensive pieces back, getting healthier offensively, which is honestly their best side of the football. Defense is still a little sus.
Happens.
It happens. But nonetheless, a team we didn't get to talk about, sadly, your Saints. You guys are on a bye week. Any thoughts on what you guys need to do to wrap up this season? Because it hasn't been.
Yeah, not lose this week either.
Can't. You guys are on a bye. You guys are fine.
We'll figure it out somehow.
You guys come back with an extra loss on the schedule.
What can we do? Nothing. The season's over.
Season's over?
Season is over. Yeah.
Season's over?
Yeah.
I hear it.
It's over.
Is it 4-8 right now? I think you guys are 4-8, huh?
4-8 or 4-9. 4-9.
Tough.
We just lost. Up 16-3. Choke artists.
It's tough. I hear it. And to wrap things up, our Monday night football game. My boys in blue, the Patriots, go into town to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Another primetime game for us. We were on Thanksgiving. We were on for the Buffalo game on Thursday. And now we're back again on Monday night television. Last Monday night game didn't really work out for us. We got absolutely torched by Justin Fields, who just happens to be a rather mobile quarterback. Who are we playing? Kyler Murray, a rather mobile quarterback.
Just send him a PS5 in his hotel room.
I'm going to pick us
Call
to
of Duty.
win. Now, he'll already be home. It'll be in Arizona.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I'm going to pick us to win because, of course, I'm not going to fucking pick my team to lose. There's just absolutely no fucking way. But much like the Buffalo game and just about every fucking game we play, I'm not going to be surprised if we fucking lose because our offense is absolutely fucking dog shit.
Yes, but your defense on the flip side is spectacular at times. There are times where, you lose. So is your defense good if you lose? Debatable. Arizona has crazy offense. New England has the defense.
Sick of this shit.
The Cardinals' defense is not the weakest, but not the strongest. The Patriots' offense, not the strongest, not the weakest, At times, you probably feel like they are the weakest offense. Sorry.
They're the worst red zone by far.
This could potentially be the game of the week as well. Like, Chargers-Dolphins, that's going to be a great game, you hope. Right. This could be a great game as well. And we've agreed a lot. And we're going to agree one more time. I got the Patriots winning. I think that Cardinals team is just nah.
Well, Hollywood Brown's going to be back.
Nah.
Nuke is obviously there. James Conner's banged up. He's sort of finding his strides again. They're also coming off a bye, so that's also going to help. Like I said, I'm picking us to win because I'm not going to fucking pick my team to lose.
I think y'all's defense is going to get to Kyler.
God, our offense, our quarterback is mid. I fucking love you, Mac. You give me
Is he mid or is your coordinator absolutely abysmal?
Mid. All right. Mac Jones is fucking mid. I've watched him play for the last – we had a bye
I'd rather Mac Jones than Andy Dalton.
For our last 13 probably, I guess.
You would. Yeah. There's more upside with Mac. There's nothing you can build from as having Andy Dalton as your quarterback. Right. Right. And then you get Tom Brady to come in next year to be a mentor for Mac.
That's not fucking happening.
And then Bill just said recently, DeAndre Hopkins, he's one of the best I've ever had to scheme against, one of the best players I've ever seen. So, of course, he's saying that. So when they trade 2 seconds and a fifth next year for DeAndre Hopkins, they're back. And
they can get the same shit that they got for him, which is a mediocre running back and like a 6 pick, which is what they fucking
Damian Harris.
Yeah, there you go. You guys got fucking. You guys moved on.
You were supposed to say no.
Big Stevenson gang, baby. Big Stevenson gang.
And it's not like y'all don't draft mad running backs anyway. So.
Pretty much. Oh, and also our offensive coordinator is fucking dog shit.
Yeah,
Fuck you, Fat Matt.
Y'all don't even have an offensive coordinator. They're
fucking
just
sick of that guy.
Offensive,
dog.
We'll mention it. Mac Jones. Did he say our run game sucks or our quick game sucks?
Our quick, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, it was quick. Come on, it was quick.
It sucked.
It does. It does. Yeah, no, it does.
But that's going to do it for us. Be here on Friday. We're going to talk some wrestling. William Regal.
Out.
He's
out.
Tony Khan already said his piece about that. Respect it. Fair enough. Ronda Rousey. Everyone's giving her shit for her DDT spot. I don't know if you heard. She took ownership for that. She actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. So all that and more on Friday. We will talk about that. And then next week, of course, we'll be back here to break down more RGTP tiers for week 15. We'll talk more NBA teams. I think we're cycling back to Lakers, Clippers, Boston. We're cycling back around to some of these
okay.
The storyline teams, the Nets and such. So that'll be fun. Minnesota will also be talked about.
Well, I mean, we had the Cavs today. And the Nuggets.
Hey, we're gonna be talking. Keep on talking. But Mamba, let the good folks know what they got to do.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, notifications on. Have a great day, evening, morning, afternoon, night, everything. Peace.
Have a good one. Yes, sir.